All right, welcome to the Gamers Cast. This is episode 6, and we got a new member joining the cast today, Mr. Ken Washington. Nice to have you. Nice to have you.
Put his whole government name out there.
That's right. That's right. Well, I was going to say his full government name, but
whoa!
I won't do that. I won't do that.
Disrespecting early.
I won't do that to him. All right, Dustin, the Enforcer is back.
Yes, sir.
Let's go, man. All right, hey yo, Sheed.
Hey yo, what up?
You was here on time, but not really.
That was first, man.
Oh, stop.
My man Dre 41 making it 4 episodes in a row now.
I'm always on time.
That's what's up.
Google him.
Google him.
Google me.
The superior one.
The best for last, of course.
Mike.
Of course.
What's going on, bro?
Chilling.
Glad to have you guys all here tonight, man. Awesome for episode 6. Man, episode 6, man. We're strolling right along, man. It's awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, like always, I know you're new here, Ken. So we're gonna start you off, brother.
No, okay.
What games you been playing this week, my man, or the last week or so?
I've been playing because I got it while it was on sale. Some NBA 2K21. The shot meter is broken, but it's okay. I'm making it work.
Yes, it is.
I've been playing GTA 5 since I got it on the PC and got, what did I call it earlier? A little stimulus package so I can experience some of the things I couldn't on Xbox.
Now, real quick before you go on to the next game, sorry, man. Have you been doing any modding on there?
Not yet, but I have been playing on the 5M server, where they have like the tycoon things and stuff where you just in there making money, and that's actually been a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And then Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I don't know where I'm at exactly. I hope I'm close to the end because that's a lot of hours.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And then Star Trek Online, because I'll go ahead and put it out there. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and I've been playing it since it came out. I got the collector's edition back there behind me, but you can't see it. So that's been where I've been this last couple of weeks.
Awesome. Real quick on that Assassin's Creed game, man. That's one that I keep debating on getting, man, and I've seen it pop up on sale for like $30 some, and I keep debating
That's
on
not
getting
bad.
it. But I've heard, and it obviously I would get it for the PS5. I've heard so many different things about it, man. Like the play style is like kind of slow, like you're kind of clunky when you're running. Like it's just not like, you know what I mean?
It depends on your play style. Like for me, if you play it like the old Assassin's Creeds, you probably won't like it at all. But if you have a bit of a me problem, as Dre can attest to, some Leroy Jenkins disease, where you like to run in there face first, yeah, you'll be perfectly fine. Because a lot of the battles you will be trying to be stealthy, and you'll stealth kill one person, and then magically get seen, and then it's all out war. So
it's expected though, because you're a Viking, right?
Right.
So
and especially when you're storming the land, it's everybody in, balls to the wall, just everybody for it. So I've been enjoying it, and I've put a lot of hours into it so far. So
yeah, I'm probably gonna pick it up eventually. Like I said, I've seen a couple of sales on it for like $30-$35 or something. So I'll eventually get it, man. I've got so many things right now I've been playing. So
here's just my little last thing. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed since Black Flag.
Hey,
and I bought this one for full price.
The second one.
Because I played it at my brother-in-law's house. I really enjoyed it. So I came home and just dropped the money on it right then and there.
Now
I
on
can't
Xbox,
say I regret it.
On Xbox, I never buy them anymore. Like the last one that I've actually bought, and it was when the Xbox One first came out, was Black Flag. You know what I mean? Like I bought it with that. And I haven't bought one since because that's the last one I kind of really played and kind of enjoyed a little bit. But all the other ones, man, like they come out for free on Xbox for Xbox Gold, like every single one. I own like all of them, but I haven't played them just because like it's just not my game. Like the first 3 I loved, and then kind of went downhill for me. But this one I have been debating on getting. So yeah, Dustin.
I have been rocking some SmackDown 2. Been rocking Fire Pro. I'm trying to think of another game I was playing. I know I was playing SVR 2009, and I've been meaning to jump in some EA MMA that I just got, and I've been playing Power Rangers Legacy Wars. I couldn't think of the name, but that's all I've been playing.
I'm glad you put that Mortal Kombat down.
You ain't gonna help you get any better.
I mean, I could be away from it for a month and I still stomp you.
We can hop on to it right after this Zoom, buddy.
Don't listen to Sheed, man. Hey, this dude talks so much trash, man.
Just remember this.
Literally, listen. Literally, my first match on there. Now I've had it for a while. I just hadn't played it. I hadn't played no exhibition, no computer, no online, no nothing. Literally, the first match that I played on this game was against Sheed a few weeks ago. Smashed him with Raven.
That was a mercy match right there.
Man, mercy match.
I don't want
don't make me cuss, man. After I done told y'all not to.
Hey man, I don't want you to rage quit on me and kick me off of the podcast.
I smashed you with Raven, bro.
Like I smashed you there.
All right, man, next. All right, Dre, what you been playing, my man?
Just 2 games that I left in the chat that nobody else played. The Streets of Rage Zombies game, which was fan made, and it has 2 different storylines, and I played them both. Right? I don't even want to spoil it, but
no, don't please, because I want to get that.
The good ending is hilarious. No, the bad ending is hilarious. Like you got to play it. Then
what are you playing this on Steam?
No, on the computer. The link that I sent, it's not on Steam because it's a mod.
Okay.
You just play it off of the website.
Okay.
See, I was gonna ask you that too. Was it on Steam? But yeah, it's a mod, so it probably wouldn't be on there. But yeah, dude, I need to get that. You probably gonna have to send that link again, dude, because
because I don't remember seeing the link.
And I'm not scrolling hundreds and hundreds of messages up, bro.
Y'all terrible.
You definitely.
When we start, we just keep going and going and going.
And then Mortal Kombat, Defenders of the Realm. That is another mod. That is like MK Ultimate with everybody plus Bruce Lee, Homer Simpson, just everybody in it. The Predator.
Is that the one that has like Razor Ramon on it?
Yes.
That sounds like
Mugen, right?
Mugen, yeah. That sounds like
fun.
You pronounce it.
It's the most ridiculous Mortal Kombat game. My favorite character is Cabal. Like Mortal Kombat 3, my favorite character is Cabal. So I use Cabal. I could run through that game easily with Cabal. I'm the truth with that. So just those 2 games right now. I just bought Madden 05, so I'm gonna play that a little bit. And those are the 2 games. I've been looking for Twisted Metal 2. So when I'm able to find that, then I'm gonna play that too.
Awesome. She, what you been playing, brother?
Mainly Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I finally finished that over last weekend, and little bit of WWE 2K9 and what else?
2K9? 2K9?
I mean 19.
I was gonna say, there ain't no 2K9.
2K9, I got the exclusive hookup.
Right?
Nobody got that one. A little bit of Battlefield 4 and some Fortnite with the little guy.
Nice. Spike.
Oh boy, so it's like, what haven't I played this week? In the chat we started talking about God of War when I think I was the one that posted the that first battle that you have.
Yes.
So we would be reminiscent about that. I jumped back into that. I've been streaming that all week. I don't know if this thing's gonna show up. this little retro portable thing. I've been playing like every old school game possible. I've been playing Maximum Carnage, Mario RPG, that crappy Terminator 2 game that I keep telling you guys about. That's like a side scroller. I'm downloading Legend of Legaia right now to play that when we get off air. My wife actually bought her like half of her collection of PS2 games. So I got like a stack of PS2 games back that I've been going through. We got Dot Hack, Onimusha 1, 2, 3, Capcom versus SNK 2. And that's just what I've been able to play out of the stack of stuff that's over there. I've just been on my whole retro grind this week, playing a lot of the old school stuff.
Nice. Heck yeah, man. Let's see. I'll start off with this one because I haven't played it in so long, and I keep saying that, I haven't played it. And you always mention, I don't think you actually mentioned it tonight, but Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah, that too. I didn't mention it, but yeah, that too.
I finally got back into it. Not a whole lot. I only played a little bit on it, man. Mainly to grab up that Mario stuff, which I need to get on probably tonight, so that way I can go ahead and grab the stuff out of the mailbox or whatever. It's going to be too late unless I cheat and turn back the clock on it.
Yeah, because the store's closed at like 8.
Right.
8 and 9.
But I've only got, man.
The Mario stuff, you get that from the town hall, so you can just order that and get it delivered tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I need to do that. I've only gotten, and I hate how on that game you can only buy like
5 things a day through that.
I hate that so much, man. So I only did like 5, and I should have got on yesterday, and I didn't. I've been real busy the last couple of days. Haven't really played a lot of stuff, been doing things, but I did get on that a few days ago and grab a few things at least. So I need to get on there and do that. Let's see what else I played. On literally 3 or 4 nights ago, I played Madden 21 only because it finally became available on the EA that I get every year. You know what I mean? So it was there. I was like, you know what? I haven't tried it yet. I'll just try it out. So I did play that for a couple hours, more or less just checking through stuff, checking the ratings, and yeah, that game was kind of trash. I ain't gonna lie. Which I already knew it was gonna be. It has been for a while. But I was like, screw it. I pay for the service, man. So
might as well, right?
I was like, let me try it out. Let's see what the hype or not the hype is about. And it was what I figured. So let's see. What else have I played? I played Resident Evil 1, the remake. I finally, because I own it on Xbox, on my Xbox Series X and my PS5, which I was debating on what to play it on. I was like, I'm going to play it on my PS5. So I finally put a little bit of time into that. Forgot to save with the ink ribbons. Forgot to save with the ink ribbons. Man, well, I was like, you know what? I was sitting there. I was like, man, I'm not going to save yet. Wrong. I should have done it because the zombie got me. Anyways, yeah. I was so frustrated. I was like, screw this. I turned it off. But that's an awesome game, dude. So I'm gonna definitely go back to it, of course. What else, dude? I've played several things. Oh god, before I forget, God of War. I was playing. I don't know if you saw me the other night. I think you were on there too at the same time. I
didn't check. Yeah.
But yeah, of course, on the PS5, they upscaled it. And also, or updated or whatever just recently, and so they enhanced it, and it plays at 60 FPS now as well. So yeah, dude, it's like I don't know, it already looks good, but it even looks even better.
It looks great, like
right. And so I'm saying,
quickly jump back to it, like I almost rage quit that whole thing the other night. Right. I was just like, when you guys say, like when I'm streaming and you guys say you're messaging me in the chat, I don't see it, even though I have the manager open.
Right.
So I was like, let me just keep it open on the side. And I don't know if that was affecting my gameplay. I'm gonna just blame it on that.
Right.
I was just getting destroyed by this one enemy. It wasn't even like a mid boss or anything. It was just like a regular enemy, almost a 2-hour stream of me trying to beat this thing. And I was like, at the end, I'm just like, you know what, screw this game. Turn the stream off. And I was like, you know what, let me try one more time. And I try it with the stream off. I beat the thing in like a minute.
Right. So, I mean, the game looks, even if you're just playing on PS4, like you know what I'm saying, like I have and you do or whatever, it already looks really good. So for them to upscale it on the PS5 and it plays in 60 FPS, man, right off the bat, no going down or anything. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm enjoying it. I played a little about maybe 2 hours of it the other night, and dude, it was freaking awesome, dude. I started all the way back over. Yeah, so that game, I'm having fun with it. For what I played with it so far, I kind of put down Death Stranding for a little bit just because with everything going on. That's one that I'm definitely going to get back into. I don't want you guys to think that. I know I was talking about that for a few weeks playing it, but I put it down for just a little bit. What else? Oh, and of course, WWE 2K19 with UWA, literally a couple of days away from popping back up on the scene. Yep. I've been putting a lot of time in that, recording, editing, blah 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 blah. So but anyways, yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
I got one more addition
pretty much
before we go on there, D.
Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot to include, because a couple months back somebody in this group said it was impossible to do it with this certain person, so I accepted that challenge. I went back and I jumped on ECW Anarchy Rules because a certain Mr. Google Me said it's literally impossible to go through career mode and win the world title with New Jack. I went through and I did that.
Where's the proof?
You didn't take no screenshot?
You stream everything.
You know receipts are needed.
This dude streams everything. Screenshots, and you ain't got no proof? Man,
I want to hear it.
I'm gonna call
BS.
I'm gonna call
I did.
BS on that.
You can't be the game with that.
I'm gonna call BS on that.
Oh my gosh.
What'd you do?
You literally shared a video of your character doing the defusion off the top rope on Fire Pro before we got on air, and you forgot to record yourself doing that.
You had to do it again. It's not like you got to do it again.
I'll go back and do it again. That's not a problem.
Do it again, Dustin, because
I can beat
as I said, you can't beat Anarchy Rules with New Jack. It's not possible.
All right, so before
I got him go home.
Before we go to the next thing, last week, I know you weren't here, Ken. But last week there was a little bit, and just before we go over to the next topic, a game that was brought up from Spike, and then you and Dre was talking about it, and it was like, which I already had the games. I know we were talking about, and I was agreeing with you, Spike, blah 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 blah. But and y'all know how my game room isn't the biggest, so like I've got games behind, you know what I mean? Like I have to double up on my racks and or my shelving.
That's like me with the Funko Pops.
Right,
yeah.
Until we move, man, and I get my full finished basement. I have to like work with what I got, man. So I was like, you know what? I'll wait until the next podcast, and then I'll pull all this stuff out and have it ready to show. But these are the games. These are the ones that we were talking about, Dre.
That's the Genesis one. Yeah.
This one right here is the one.
I hated that one.
You were talking about, Dre.
Separation anxiety.
This one all the way to this side is the one you were talking about, right?
Yes.
This one was just Spider-Man on it. Okay. And then you
pretty much fight the Sinister Six at the end. Yeah.
Now let's see. Now this one right here. This is the animated series one. I don't know if you guys.
That was trash.
The graphics look really good on it, dude. I kind of like it, man. But I agree, it's not the better one, even though it's the newest one. And the graphics look really good on it. But this one was okay. This one, I know you love it, Dre. I'm kind of with Spike on it. It's not the better one either, I don't think. I do like it though. I do like it.
It's basically the same game with different. It looks the same.
It does not look the same at all.
It doesn't look like this one right here. Not the one that Spike was talking about.
The same.
It's not.
Bro, that's like my favorite game. I have it on this thing right now. Like it doesn't look the same.
This one right here, I really like it a lot too, dude. I don't know if you've ever played that one, Spike.
I've played that one, but that one I didn't.
I hate that one.
I didn't own that one, but I remember playing it at a friend's house.
Carnage.
No, that one is when
Maximum Carnage
Spider-Man on the stage and like Wolverine stage is like you're fighting clowns. It's ridiculous.
I didn't
so
put maximum carnage in it because, dude, I've shown that one so many times. Plus, that wasn't really in the discussion, but I wanted to show that because I know that there was a little bit of confusion, or Dre was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And it was like, "No, it's not the same game." But I wanted to share that with you guys, man. So I wasn't able to do that last podcast because, dude, stuff would have just fell, and that wouldn't have been good. So. But anyway, so next topic, and this is one that I think all of us is going to enjoy, and probably a little hard, maybe some harder than others, and some will probably just be like this. Now, of course, when we do our top favorites, you can always, if you want to, have an honorable mention, or you can just leave it, and that's up to you guys. But next up is top 3. Now, listen, Dustin. Top 3 favorite wrestling games, and we're gonna go with you, Dustin. So since I called you out,
all right, my number 3 is Fire Pro Wrestling World and / Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. That's, to me, I always enjoyed that, and that was the game that when I first got, it had the Canadian Destroyer. That's back before SVR 11 came out. And number 2 is a toss-up between WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, but I'm going No Mercy.
Boo.
Because I spent a lot of hours creating wrestlers, printing out the formulas, make sure everything was right. And number 1, I said this is one of my favorite games of all time back off stream when we talked, and I'm still holding true to it. SmackDown 2 Know Your Role. Because I literally played that game when it first came out all the way up until I graduated in June 2003 because I didn't have a PS2 at the time. I literally put more hours into that in my 64 with WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy.
All right. Sheed, top 3, brother.
Let's see. This is a hard one. I'm gonna go with WrestleMania 2000. A lot of people talk about No Mercy, but I put more time into 2000, so I always put that over No Mercy. Warzone.
Really?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hey, don't disrespect Warzone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love Warzone too, man.
I love Warzone too, but I mean, like, given everything we got after, you figure like that would have pushed it lower down.
Relax. Don't do that.
No, my reason is a lot.
That's when some veterans like me and Dre started our career.
Well, I didn't create, but that's when I started playing more.
Yeah, I probably say most of my characters all of my characters I have started in Warzone, so that's where, that's why that's on there.
Okay.
And Here Comes the Pain. That's where some more of my characters came from. That's where Steinberg came from. Here Comes the Pain. So yeah, that's my top 3. Yeah.
All right. Ken.
So number 1 for me was No Mercy, because I put an unnecessary amount of time in that. Even with the resets, when that was happening, I still went back to it and was I was doing that. And then number 2 was actually Warzone. And on my little notes that I'm looking at, it literally says Ken Washington was born. So he was born on Warzone.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah. Nice. That's where he got his, and then Fire Pro Wrestling World, because dear, do I have unnecessary. A part of the reason I got a computer was because of Fire Pro, to have more space for it.
Nice.
So yeah, those are my 3.
No honorable mentions. No one's said one yet.
Oh, Fire Pro for me.
Okay.
Oh, WWF Attitude, because that was
the
first time
I
create pay-per-view.
I like that game too, man. I don't care. I always liked it too. I drove like 45 minutes because I've always lived in big cities, but then in that time frame when that game came out, I was kind of in between of moving from Indiana back to North Carolina, and I was visiting my mom, and the game came out around the same time, and they live in a small town now, or have been for a while now. But anyways, at that time they had just moved to this small town, and I was visiting, and I was like, man, there was like no game shops or nothing that carried that kind of stuff around. So I had to drive 45 minutes to a bigger city for a mall to get the strategy guide, so that way I could know all the moves and stuff. Because you remember like Attitude at Warzone, man.
It was
like,
all secret.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Back here.
Oh yeah.
You had to have the strategy guys, dudes, or you was pulling no finishers or six.
The only one
suplex, power slam.
Is the Stone Cold Stunner.
Right.
That was grapple and like forward. Oh.
Right.
Yeah,
but like to do the right bottom, it was like left, right, up, down, sideways, square,
like they made
triangle and O together.
They was like, I hope you like SNK games, because pulling off your specials gonna be like playing an SNK game.
Whoever thought making like 10 different ways of doing something to pull off a move? That was the most stupidest thing, dude. Like,
but it was satisfying when you actually pulled it off.
You actually pulled it off, exactly.
Pause the game. Then be like, oh,
yeah. I love both of those games. I love both of those games.
Then ECW Hardcore Revolution.
Yeah, because they all play the same.
Yeah.
Well, the barbed wire matches.
That was different.
ECW guys. That was good times.
If I had an honorable mention, it'd probably be Here Comes the Pain.
Okay. Hey, not a wrong one either, man. Not a wrong one either. Spike.
All right. What do I got here? SmackDown 1. I mean, like the rest of you guys, I started with my character in Warzone, ported him over to no, I started with, which one was first, Attitude or Warzone?
Warzone was first.
Warzone. So I started in Warzone, and it was like Warzone was cool, but it didn't truly feel like my character. Because remember, yes, you made yourself, but you didn't have your own move set. Like you would take the other wrestlers' move set, and it was just like, oh, so it's like I'm me, but I'm Shawn Michaels. So it's just like I didn't feel like I actually made myself until SmackDown, where it's like you got SmackDown 1, you got that. You did the preseason where you built up your character, and then the relationships and stuff you form in the preseason, you take it to the actual season. And that was the first game where we had like actual cutscenes. And like to this day, I still say like I wish that the games had that in it, where it's like you get the cutscenes unrelated to your character. Like if somebody's feuding with the Brood, like you could potentially see the bloodbath, like Farouk or Bradshaw getting beat down from the bloodbath. And I thought that was cool. Or the Ministry sacrifice, stuff like that. I thought that was cool. And like I would say SmackDown 2 over that, because SmackDown 2 improved on all of that stuff. But from my memories, that loading time on SmackDown 2 just killed it for me. So SmackDown 1. Here Comes the Pain next, mainly because Here Comes the Pain was a big part of like my life in high school. Everybody would come over to my house. We would have the multi-tap. We would do the 4-man matches, everything like that. We would jump between that and WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy, when No Mercy came out, but nobody was touching me in that. SmackDown was like the only game where it's like you could start them up, give people a finisher so they would have a chance to go against me. Had a lot of fun with that. And then third, I'm going to say WWE 2K13. Mainly because, like I said, not the best in the franchise, but they brought back the old school, like the Attitude Era stuff, and I always wanted a more modern game, or like the New Age Outlaws, because I always hated the way the Shaker Island Roll looked in the old games. And that was the first time like they actually fixed it. That was like probably the last time I think I invested myself in the universe mode, and actually like I had old school Raw on Monday, and then I had like modern day Raw on Tuesday, and then NXT on Wednesday, and I had a Ring of Honor and a New Japan, like multiple saves. I'd say that's my top 3. Honorable mention, I guess the first SmackDown versus Raw, and that's just because I got to beta test that before everybody else. At that point, Sony sent me a copy. I got to beta test it. I got to see the stuff that was in the game that before they took it out. Like, I don't think Brock was in that game.
No, his last game was Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah, and in the beta version, his stuff was still in there. And I remember he was actually still in there too. And then when the game dropped, they took him out. So I always thought that was cool. And I guess another honorable mention, again, I'd say No Mercy over WrestleMania 2000. Just because like they introduced stuff like the 3D, we got the ladder matches and stuff like that. When you use the weapons and you drop them, they didn't sink into the mat and disappear like in WrestleMania 2000. So like that's my 2 honorable mentions.
Up next, Dre. What top 3, and then if you have any honorable mentions, of course.
All right, cool. So first one is Backyard Wrestling. Here goes the neighborhood. Number 2 is Power Move Pro Wrestling. Number 3 is WCW Nitro. I'm lying. That's not.
I'm like,
man, we're about to kick you off.
I was about to go ahead and walk out.
Like cut his mic off.
Messing around. All right. So I'm gonna say this because I played it through a lot of times and I enjoyed it a lot. I'm gonna say Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. That has to be up there for me. It bypasses WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, mainly because it's something completely different, and it has MMA and combo strikes, which in No Mercy they don't have that, and you can knock out your opponent with one move. Poison Mist stays on their face, and it's different colors of the Poison Mist too. That's something I just really appreciate. Number 2, I'm gonna have to say WWF Attitude, because that's where Showtime was created. They had a template for the name Showtime in there, and that's where I got it from. So it's gonna be WWF Attitude. Number three, I would have to say, and I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be SmackDown 2 and Just Bring It are gonna have to be my 3. I want to say a mention probably for Wrestle Kingdom 1, because just it's a great game. It plays you a little bit in the story mode. I'm not even going to stunt. They kind of make your excursion kind of tough on you. And what's going to be another honorable mention? I'll for giggles, I'll throw in Mayhem, WCW Mayhem. I enjoyed that game. If you did,
I actually like that game too. Like again,
I put some work in that game.
With SmackDown 2, the only thing that killed me with that game was the load times. Like I wish the load times was a little bit better, but I actually enjoyed that game.
Yeah. So those are mine right there.
Let's see. And I may have maybe 2 honorable mentions, man. I ain't trying to throw too many on there, man. But number 1, No Mercy. I put way too many hours in that game, way too many hours. And like you did, Ken, man, when the game first came out, I had the BS version where
the first release
where it would go through and mess up and then have to restart over. And the first couple of times it happened, I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, why does this keep resetting? You know what I mean? So, and I eventually learned my ways and got a bunch of my stuff saved on the memory cards when it came to characters. You know, obviously the ones that was actually on the game always got erased, but I always had my mains on the memory cards, and then, well, they were all my mains, but you know what, you get what I'm saying. And that was until they offered, which not everybody did it or knew about it, man, but then they offered where you could send that version back and they would send you the better copy or whatever.
Second release, yeah.
Right, the second release, which I ended up doing immediately when that was available. So I never had that issue again. But dude, I've spent so much time on that game, and me and Dustin even talked about this. Even when like the SmackDown games first came out, you know, obviously the graphics were better and this and that, man. But dude, I loved creating, and not only that, it was more than that, man. But the first SmackDown was like, yeah, the game was cool, but you could only make like 4 people, and you had to use you could only make, and you had to use all in-game parts. Like,
they had original.
There's some original parts in there, like samurai parts, robot feet.
But it was very limited, dude. I'm talking like when I made Goldberg, I had to use Stone Cold's head. Like it was. Yeah, hey, I'm telling you, bro. I remember, because that's why I went back to No Mercy. I was like, I can't do this.
No, they did have original parts.
It wasn't a lot. I'm telling you, bro.
They did. I literally played that game yesterday.
But what I'm saying
you can make your own face.
No, you couldn't.
No.
Oh, you couldn't.
No, on the first Smackdown, you could.
Hold on,
no, hey, I'm telling you, bro, because if it was like that, I would have stayed on that game. I would have stayed on that game. Yeah, it was sliders, bro.
There was hidden faces, like there was a Stephanie face. There was
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
it
you
was
had
like
to unlock Stephanie.
Right, but it was it was more or less in-game characters, man. Like they didn't have like a big. It didn't get bigger until the next game, man. SmackDown 2 or whatever. That's when you finally could make people, bro. Anyways, long story short. So No Mercy's number one. Number 2, which originally was my number 1 until No Mercy had came out or whatever. WrestleFest. WrestleFest is still to this day my second favorite, man. I like I said, and we talked about this before. I spent tons and tons and tons and hours and quarters on that game. It absolutely blew my mind when I was a kid, dude. Like, because there was nothing like that, man. Nothing that you could play at home was even on this level of graphics at that time. And it was just the whole everything, dude. You know, the atmosphere, playing on the arcade. It was just, yeah, still to this day, my second favorite game of all time. And a lot of these go back because of memories and blah, blah, blah. Number 3, y'all gonna laugh at me on this, but I don't care. I still go back and play it, and that's a lot of this matters because of that. A lot of these other games that we talk about, I don't go back, even though I own every single one of them. I own almost every single wrestling game, dude, except for a couple of oddball ones and a couple of ones you have, Dre. Y'all gonna make so much fun of me, dude.
I feel like I already know what it is.
Pro wrestling.
I got an idea.
NES.
I knew it.
Pro wrestling for the NES.
Pro wrestling,
man.
the pro wrestling for NES with Starman and the Amazon.
He's leaving. He's leaving. Hey, but you know what, dude? Hey, straight up, bro. Straight up, though, man. Hey, that game is still fun to this day, bro. And I literally just played it the other day, or not the other day, but not too long ago. I still go back and play it. It's still fun to me, man. It's still hard. Like, not long after you win the first title, you have to start defending it immediately. And to make it, some people haven't even never made it to the last guy. Like, that's how hard the game is. It's still fun to me, man. I still love playing it after all these years since the game first came out, which was like late 80s or whatever it was. Still love the game, dude. Still love it. Honorable mentions would be WCW, NWO Revenge or whatever.
That's a big one.
I love that game. That's one of the ones that kind of started it. I know it wasn't the very first one, but it was around that same time frame. I love that game, dude. I wish it had more creation wise, but I guess that's when WrestleMania 2000 came in play. For that, but I really love that game, so that's going to be my honorable mention. And I'm gonna name one more, man, because as a game also that I spent a lot of hours on. It's the last one that I personally, and I could do it now on my PC or whatever, man, but who cares now? But then it was the last one that I actually did renders on, and a lot of other really cool stuff, dude. When I used to hack back in the days when I used to hack the 360. WWE 14.
I thought you were gonna say 12.
Nah, 14.
You saw my lips, so I said 14.
Yeah, 14, dude. 14.
I 12.
I really like 13 too, and I'm torn between those a little bit, man, because of the rosters. But 14 was like a really awesome roster for me too, man. It's the last one that we got Yokozuna on. It was just, I don't know, the game.
See, I don't even remember that.
Like, yeah, dude, Yoko was on 14, man. I don't know. And not only that, man, dude, a lot of time in parties and playing online with friends, dude. It's just a lot of time was on that game, man. A lot of time on that game, man. I made a lot of money on that game too. And 13 and 12, but I mean, yeah, that was the last game that I used to charge people for stuff, dude.
I still make money on that game.
I know, but I mean, that was the last game that I actually I stopped taking people's money, man, because it was like for like 3 or 4 years in a row, bro, I was getting paid a lot of money to do stuff. And that was the last game that I did that for. But anyways, so I would say one more. Screw it. I'll say one more before, and we'll go to the next comment. Attitude. I loved Attitude too, man.
Yes.
I loved it, dude. That was an awesome.
I love
game,
that, dude.
I can always watch my playthrough that I just completed. I'm just saying.
Right. Awesome game, dude. I don't care what nobody says.
Yes.
I'm glad a few of you guys agree with that because that was really an awesome game, man. All right, so next up. And now I know you said some of this you can't talk about, Dre, even though you wanted to do this list. So our thoughts, and I guess, and we have actually said a little bit of something like this before, but let's dig a little bit deeper into it. This ties in with the last topic that we just had, but Retromania, AEW, the AEW game that's being made, the wrestling code that's being made, and WWE 2K20, if that's even going to be a thing, because they still have
22 or 22.
No, it's not going to be 21. It's going to be 22. Well, if it's 22, they may change the name.
22.
Who knows? You know what I mean? Yeah, because this year would have been 21. Or last year.
No, last year.
Whatever. Yeah, last year. Anyways, long story short, we don't even know if it's going to be a 2K22. It could be something totally different. But anyways, we know that they've got to be something. Oh God, I hope not, dude. Oh my God. But those games right there, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Those I'm assuming those are 4. I'm not gonna bring up Fire Pro because it's still around. It's not gonna be another one made, probably, or if it is, it'll be another 10 years.
I doubt we're gonna get one on PS5.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But anyways, those 4 games are in the makes. Retromania is actually now already out. I don't think it's that they pushed the console version's not out yet, right?
2 weeks. Allegedly.
Okay, that's what I know
it's just Steam right now.
Right, it's just Steam right now. So that's actually kind of already out there. But the other 3 are still being made. So like what's everybody's thoughts, hopes, thoughts?
I'm jaded with the Retromania because, like I said, I'm probably
we can all whoever just goes on this, man.
Yeah, like, I'm jaded with Retromania just because I pre-ordered that thing back in like June.
Of what, like 2 years ago?
Then July came, nothing came out, and like I said in past episodes, I was the first person on Twitter to go, "Hey, what's the deal with this game?" And then they finally sent out hey, the game got delayed, it's coming out later this year. And then later this year, it got pushed to this year, and like it's like now we finally hit the time, and I'm just like, wait, Retromania is supposed to be out. And I go to check the eShop and it's not there, and I go and I check online, and that's when I find out, it came out for Steam, but console got to wait a little bit longer. And it's like I'm always on Twitter, so it's like more salt in the wound when I'm seeing stuff like Colt Cabana and Nick Aldis and all of them, like they're hyping up the game, and then like other people is like, yo, I love this game. I've waited like 20 years, 30 years to play this game, because remember, I never played the original, so I was really looking forward to this. Now I can play the original with the little emulator that I got, but it's like I'm looking forward to it, and it's like I gotta wait even longer now. So
hey, I'm jaded. Wait a minute, that emulator you got, it's got WrestleFest on there?
I could install it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it has like,
I have it on my PC. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like, no, it has like arcade emulators, Sega Master System, Game Boy, Game Boy Color. It goes up to Dreamcast. It stops at Dreamcast. Yeah, awesome. PlayStation 1, Dreamcast. Yeah.
Hey, you might have to send me a link to that again, man. I might get that.
Mm-hmm. Same.
It's gonna take a while because it comes from Japan.
That's all good.
Ain't doing nothing else. We all sitting around the house.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I will say this for me. Retromania, honestly, I wasn't too interested in it. Mainly because it took so long for it to come out. Like the guy kept saying, "Oh, we're working." I'm gonna get it when it comes out on consoles, just to, do my playthrough, and do that. It's nothing that I was like, "Oh my goodness!" It's just another opportunity to have another wrestling game, something different to enjoy. Honestly, that's just how I'm looking at it. I didn't really have too much high hopes. I'm happy that people like it. So it's just something new for me. Try to have fun with it and go from there. Especially when they add DLC, that's something that I'm looking forward to. So we'll see what happens with that. The AEW game. All right, so with this one intrigues me a lot, mainly because it kind of gave up the fact that this is not going to be a mocap game, that this is all going to be animated, mainly because they just shown that they're just getting the sounds. Now, if they were doing mocap, they would have got the mocap with the sound right then and there. But it seems like now that they're showing like, oh, we're gonna probably mocap it. I mean, not mocap it, but animate it, which is good because all the older SmackDown games were all animated, and those had some great looking moves. So I'm definitely looking forward to the AEW game. As far as features with it, I'm a little bit iffy. Actually, me and Ken actually talked about this a little bit, where I'm afraid that they might not be feature heavy if they have a scheduled due date. Even with Ukes, they're able to pump out great content in a short amount of time. But I think some people are putting their hopes too high into thinking they'll have like a creation suite and multiple different matches and all types of features. It might not be out in the initial game. We might have to get a title update or something like that before that happens. With the Wrestling Code, hopefully they come out with a great game. WWE 2K22.
Wow, that's like.
Which I already knew you weren't going to be able to say too much about that anyways.
Okay, with 2K22, I have no hopes for that. To be completely honest, because even though they have 2 years to get a good product, they had 2 years before when 20 came out.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like 2K used to be like a company where you would get a sports game and it would be so impressive and it would be something that you remember for so long. You say, yo, like we can go back to it 10 years from now and still enjoy it. And it seems like, they have a team and they never really stated who's the team because they just say BC is developing it. Who the hell knows who's on there?
Right.
Right. I would hope because they own the rights to the engine that Ukes created, that they will eventually get it to where they understand it and they're able to program it correctly.
And they've had all this time. Like, man, 2K is a huge company, man. A huge company that has made a lot of money, bro. And how can you not have somebody to come in and figure out that program that has the smarts?
I don't understand how they had this plan to make 20 when 19 came out in 2018. And it befuddles me that they have this team of experts and it's a AAA development company and they couldn't understand it. My whole thing was like, don't take it until you understand it.
Right.
Until you're able to take the helm. Don't do it because you want to save money. Like, at the end of the day.
But their thing also is like, you got to look at it like this. At that time, there was no AEW game being developed. There was no Wrestling Code being developed. There was no competition. So it's just like with the weekly WWE program. We've been watching WWE for years.
Well, that's not necessarily true that those weren't being made because you just.
Well, they didn't. It wasn't.
It wasn't being
it's like
announced.
They're not coming out.
Right.
They're not competition. So they're looking at. We have no competition. We'll just shovel out whatever we have. Look, if it's trash, they're gonna get mad. They're gonna get over it. They're gonna buy the next one.
We're still gonna make our money.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
They
right.
did.
No,
they did.
They did.
And that's why I'm not going to pre-order the next WWE game. I need to see it come out first, and then I'll worry about buying DLC afterwards.
And I've pre-ordered every WWE game. I want to say since we had the option to pre-order stuff. So it's like I've had all the games at launch, except with the exception of SmackDown 2. That was a Christmas game. Every WWE game following, I have got that at launch. This is going to be the first time I'm not, because I've wasted my $100 on 20.
Yeah.
I turned on 20 the other day, and D was like, "Listen, I see you on 20." I'm like, "Bro, I just started up to see something."
I did too. I called him
actually playing it.
I had just hopped on, bro, and I was scrolling down my friends list, dude, and I saw this man on 20. I was like, "I see you."
Yeah, like they sent me 19 for free, and when I hit them up and was asking them about 20. They was not responding. I was like, "Oh, I see what it's about."
Yeah, see, I was just gonna say that, man. I think what was it? 16. I think 16 was the last one that I paid for. I've gotten the last few for free on PlayStation, Xbox, and then the last couple of years on PC as well. So I get them for free every single year. I have the last few And Brian Vore, y'all throw his name out there, screw it. He told me as long as he's under the helm, I don't have to worry about paying for one, even after the trash that I even talked. So I was bashing the hell out of 20, bro, and I still
rightfully so.
And I still got the Xbox, PlayStation, and the PC code, the dev codes. It's not even like a regular code, it's the dev codes, bro. So I got like everything, and it even has like, I don't know, it's just this extra crazy stuff whenever you put the code in. Normally when you get the code, you get like a bunch of other little codes with it. It was just the codes that I always get is just this one code, and it's just everything.
It downloads everything up.
Right. So that's I like I said, I haven't paid for a WWE game in a few years. So, and hopefully I don't have to on the next one either. We'll see. I'm still followed, so I guess we'll see.
I have zero faith.
Right.
It probably won't now in the future. I promise you that.
Right. So we'll see. I don't know. My thoughts,
is it really a loss though? Is it?
Not really. Yeah. My thoughts on the next few games. The Retromania. Yeah, I was hyped about it at first because obviously I'm a huge WrestleFest fan. So I was hoping that it was going to somewhat kind of be like that, even though obviously we're only going to get so many real wrestlers in it, which is that's not even a big deal. But with everything that's going on, man, yeah, the hype has died down a lot for me too. I will still get it. I originally wanted it for multiple things. I wanted it for my PC for modding wise. And I wanted it on my Switch to have on the go. And now I don't even know, dude. Like I will pick it up. It probably was, if I do get it, it'll probably still be for those two things. I don't know if I even want to pick it up for my Xbox or my PlayStation. So I really don't know yet. It kind of depends on how it goes and then who else gets it and if it's actually worth getting. So I don't know. I'm definitely I did not pre-order it. I will pay the extra $5 because I'm not gonna. Yeah. Let's see. WWE 2K, whatever it's gonna be called, 22 or whatever. Yeah, my hopes are not high at all. If it comes out to be a really good game, which I'm hoping. I don't want any of them to have a bad game. You know what I mean? Like I'm a wrestling game fan. I'm not gonna say wrestling fan because I don't watch wrestling no more really anymore, dude. I just don't. I've lost interest in it over the last few years, and that happens sometimes throughout my life. Anyways, I stop watching it for a little bit and I always come back, but it's been longer than just a few
Here's
for
my
me.
suggestion: just watch Danhausen. I'm done.
Right. So, but I'm still a huge diehard wrestling game fan. You know what I mean? So I want them all to succeed. So, but my hopes are not high at all, or I don't have high hopes for it. I hope they succeed, but if it's anything even remotely like 20 and doesn't play and they still have a bunch of issues, it's just like, what is going on here, man? You guys took a year off and you're still not getting it right. So we'll see with that AEW game. I did not mind what I saw, even though I know that we're still probably a couple of years, or at least 1 or 2 years.
Oh, Omega's trying to say
I'm gonna
next
say
year.
One. Well, that's what I'm saying. One, maybe straight if the pushbacks happen. So I'm gonna say 1.5, 2 years, maybe possibly we get that game. I did not really mind what I saw graphics wise on it. Graphics aren't everything, dude. As long as the game comes out and it's fun and works well. It reminded me of a newer, upscaled, like No Mercy WrestleMania type. So I kind of, you know what I mean?
How about Showdown Legends of
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take that. So
even Legends of Wrestling 2.
More Showdown. I saw more Showdown is what. Yeah, either way. I just hope it plays good and you can do a lot of stuff and they have creation. I know Brian Williams is trying to push the whole creation thing is huge. And trying to get these guys. He's obviously they're having issues with it if he's sitting there putting votes. Hey, a poll or not a votes, but poll saying, hey, how important is this to you guys? Even though he knows, but I think he's having to get from the higher ups saying, dude, this is something big. If we do not have this in the game and it's not a big thing for it, this game is not going to be successful. And he's right.
And a good thing, one thing to remember is like he's doing this stuff in America while they're developing this game in Japan. So he's working remotely, trying to get this information.
And I know I said it, and I know you said it. I was mad that it was like whenever he did that poll thing, it was like 3 days gone by. The poll thing was almost over. And it for somebody like, a normal person to make a poll, it had a lot of stuff on it, man. But for someone that's in a dev or whatever in a big company, it did not have that many votes or polls on it, or you know what I mean? Like as many as it should have. It didn't. You know what I mean?
But I think it's percent wise that he wanted to go by the people who voted. You know what I'm saying?
Like, but the thing is, if the actual game itself would have posted that, I feel like it would have gotten a lot more. Like a lot of people don't know who Brian Williams is, or
the casuals, they won't know.
You know what I mean? The casuals don't know, bro. So it's like by him posting that, the real ones, like like us and some other people or whatever that follow him or like his stuff, saw that and voted or whatever. But the casuals, like Spike said, or just the normal old person that plays the rest of the games, they don't know who the hell Brian Williams is. So
like in that poll, they'll be like, I don't care about created wrestler.
Right.
Like,
You know what I mean?
Throw that
so
to the side.
I feel like that was missed out a little bit, man. Like I even, and he liked my comment. I was like, man, I'm almost cussed. I was like, man, where is the people at, man? Like, this is ridiculous, man. Like, y'all trying to make a good game, or Brian's trying to push this thing, and it's like,
because it boils down to, yes, there's gonna be create a character or create a wrestler, or whatever
but
you call it.
How good is it gonna be?
Right, because you could get the TNA Impact character creation versus what we have in 2K19 or better.
Right.
That's why I say, like, we gotta have our expectations at a medium.
Right.
Like, this is their first outing with a brand new engine, everything from scratch. We can't expect 19 call mode. We can't.
Right. And I don't expect that. Hey, if we do get it, because obviously that's the team that made it, or so to speak, or whatever.
Even 16 call mode. I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
14.
Obviously. Yeah, I thought you was going to say 15. I was about to cuss you out.
You had to stop recording for a minute.
Yeah, man. I was about to be like, all right, let's
give you the Uncle Phil toss.
I swear I thought he was going to say 15 there for a second.
360?
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, like I said, I don't know what to think about that game yet, man. Like I said, I don't mind it. I don't mind what I've seen so far. That was just like a little thrown together something, which I appreciate them doing that. So hopefully they have something good. Now I'm excited for the Wrestling Co, dude. Now you shut your mouth. I know Dre hasn't said much about it because he can't. But he's a little bit, said a little bit kind of, but not really enough to where he can get in trouble, you know what I mean? But just enough to where it's like, I'm not saying my hopes are like huge, but it's higher than anything else that we've talked about, you know what I mean?
I'm more interested in that than
that's what I'm saying.
WWE 2K22
I'm
or
really
AEW right now.
Really interested in what that game hopefully offers, and the roster alone is something to kind of get excited about. You know what I mean? The roster is looking so dope, dude. And you add that roster on top of hopefully a great creating or even something comparable to what we have with the WWE games. man, and they're and from what little things that they're going all out, they're saying that they're trying to put in all these different match types too. That's something that we've all been trying and wanting to get back or even have. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm like I said, I'm excited. I'm not trying to get my hopes up too high to where the way I'm crushed and being like, man, you know what I mean? Like, man,
look at it like this. It can't be no worse than 2K20.
I hope to God it's not. I don't think
it could be backyard wrestling.
It could be 5-star wrestling.
But Pete, this we forgot about ultra violence. I
was actually gonna throw that in too. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Gakdao?
When I interviewed him, he didn't want to tell me his actual name.
Is that Mark or something? Who am I thinking? Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking Mark Out. That's something else.
Okay, that's what
Mark Out. That's Shannon.
Right. Okay, that's what I was thinking of him.
That was the Gakdao game, the one that the ultra violent wrestling. That's the one they released a clip last week. I want to say. Where I think the guy pulled out like some tools and he stabbed it.
That's those sticks. You stab it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's not my type of wrestling, but I'll give that a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like if that came out in 2K22 or in the stores right now, I'd be like, you know what? Let me grab that game.
Yeah. So I'll go next. I have
Go ahead.
I have
there's no on this one, man. Just all talking.
Go ahead, Ken.
I have no hopes for 2K22 just because they screwed me over with them. I was telling Dre this earlier. I hadn't played an NBA 2K since 2K18 until I got 2K21, and that was because it was on sale. I paid like $5 out of pocket in total, but it's because they're the only one that were making basketball games. You had Live sprinkled in there, but mostly it was trash. 19 was pretty good. I still have that one. But after that, and then 2K19, WWE makes you want to take my system out back sometimes and just go ahead and finish it off.
But it's the equivalent of what I said, where it's like they knew they had no competition, so they weren't
right.
Even trying.
So they just did what they did with it. Retromania, I have the WrestleFest that was the joystick one that you could get from Family Dollar because my actual game disappeared, and that's back here behind me. It's not open. I just wanted it because I was a fan of WrestleFest. But Retromania, when I watched Colt Cabana's Twitch about it, I kind of lost most interest in that. So it'll probably be a Switch pickup at some point.
Right.
Nothing that I'm like clamoring to go get. AEW, I'm trying to keep my expectations low so that way if it comes out and it's not, like you said, it's their first outing. So if it's not something huge, I'm not like, well, I set my expectations to the roof like they try to do with their weekly programming. So now I'm also let down, and now I don't want to watch the show anymore either. And yeah.
I ain't letting the game do all of that for me, but like I feel you on that.
I have done it before. I will not lie. I fell out of love with wrestling because of 2K15 on the Xbox One.
Oh wow!
I stopped watching it for almost a whole year.
Because of what? Because of what?
2K15, the video game.
Yo, that game
it wasn't the terrible storylines going on at the time. It wasn't.
God.
It wasn't Carlito chasing Hornswoggle through a wall. That's not what did it. It was the game.
Right.
It was the game. I'm gonna be honest. I couldn't.
That game
because sometimes I play the games and I do it like they'll have a match that I want to see, so I'll do it in the game. And I don't know why.
Heck,
it's
I don't even think Dre. You didn't even switch over to 15 until like very like late into.
I didn't play 15 on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were on 360 still. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Well, I didn't know y'all then, so I didn't get warned. So I paid full price thinking that this was going to be something, and the disc got broke. Like I had to snap that disc. I think that was the last disc version of 2K I bought.
That was the last version I got too. I still got mine. I'm never gonna put it in, but it's there.
I don't have it anymore. Wrestling Code, expecting something that I probably need to calm myself down on. But like everybody else, that's the one I'm probably the most excited for, because NHW that I do, it can't keep going on 19. It's gotta move.
When I was talking, I was actually going to say that, and since you're bringing it up, let that game come out it being even. Well, I'm hoping it's better than 19, because 19 is not that great of a game, guys.
It's not the best.
It's better than 20,
but
it's holding us over now.
But let that game be as. Hopefully it's better. I'm gonna say, let's say hopefully it is better than 19, because UWA will definitely be going to that game. So,
my whole thing is, like, even this season is the last season.
Oh yeah, and I haven't posted it yet. I haven't posted it yet, but I'm going to
end that season with Spike as champion.
Yeah, I'm gonna be posting.
UWA, you do that.
UWA, I'm gonna let you guys know, and whoever's watched the podcast, and you guys know it too, that I'm gonna be making a post. This is the last year for UWA on 19. It will not take place again on 19, bros. So
I'm trying my best, and this is only my second year of NHW, and I'm trying my best, but I can't cuss. 2K is making it extremely hard to continue on. I enjoy it, but I'm already bald, and you see this is turning gray down here too. I blame some of that on trying to record matches for 2K19.
God, it's horrible, man.
See, I gotta say, I have zero faith in 2K22. I had zero faith in 2K20. I was the first one to come on Twitter and say I'm not even buying it this year. Everybody thought I was lying. You know, I saw it. I foresaw it. Is that a word? Foresaw?
Foreseen.
You foreseen the crap that was coming. You know? Same here. But I was just like, you know what? There's no way it could be worse than 19. I'm gonna just get a 19 reskin. They're not gonna update anything.
I still can't get 20 to work on my console or the wife's console. It won't work.
Huh.
But I used to see Dre used to do those videos with the down the rabbit hole videos, or just where he would go on into community creations, and the game would crash like 2 minutes into him doing the video.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. Like, it would just freeze. Like, I couldn't even. It would just be like, "Oh, you want to watch something? Nah, you good."
I remember making my character in that, and I was like, "Let me change the color of this square on his tights." The game would crash.
If you try to copy over the eye color to the right eye, game will crash.
The game will crash. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, hold on, real quick, Sheet.
AEW. I'll keep my fingers crossed for AEW.
Yeah.
Wrestling Code. I don't really have anything nice to say about the Wrestling Code. I mean, it did try to bribe me.
Stop it.
They did try to bribe me with the Ultimo Dragon announcement the other day. They tried to get me with that one. I'm like, okay, Ultimo Dragon, my favorite cruiserweight of all time. No, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I'm not falling for it.
Now, what was you saying, She?
Yeah. With the Wrestling Code, they tried to bribe me with the Ultimo Dragon announcement, but I'd have to wait until it's already out and I've seen multiple people, opinions on it. But,
so Sheed, I have a question for you. What do you need to see in the game in order to get you more interested in it?
For me, some kind of in-game screenshots. I know he said he's not doing gameplay, but at least something besides those character screens that he's been showing. Maybe like a ring or arena, something different. More than what we've seen.
They started the mocap. I saw that in one of the last posts where it's like they had the glove on and you see them moving the glove, and then like the screen was showing like the actual movement. That got me excited. I'm like, all right, we're finally making some progress. It's not just Heisei now. We're actually making some progress.
Right.
And like I said, the excitement lies in that because that's the game that looks closest to like a realistic look.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like we assume if we do have character creation in there, that hopefully it's going to surpass what we've gotten in 2K19 and the previous titles.
Or at least be on par with it.
Yeah, on par or surpass it.
Right.
Well, the character models already look better than what we have in 2K19.
I
complain
agree
about that all the time.
Agree.
I'm just like, you see people doing it for free, like they're making characters for free, just doing it as their hobby, and it looks better than what they're paying people to do over at 2K. And I'm like, how is this even possible?
Oh yeah, man! Like Joe Mashups, my boy Joe, and several other people too, man. Yeah, like the mods, man, are just blowing these away, bro. Like now I get it; they're using what's already in the game and then remolding, and some is actually remaking, just making period.
But here's the problem with some game developers is that, like for 2K, for instance, like with the Edge model, they probably sent these people in Japan a picture of Edge and they weren't even able to scan him. And that's why you got this weird looking version of Edge or any other person in the game, is because these developers are just getting pictures. They're not getting scans. So the ones you can tell that they scanned look way better, like Molly Holly for 20, they probably was like, yo, here's a bunch of reference photos, make it happen. And they're doing the best they can, as opposed to scanning now.
Well, whoever's looking at those pictures are blind. Because,
yeah, no kidding.
Because that does not look anything like Molly Holly. I'm sorry.
No.
And Edge, we have had that Edge model now for a few years, and that does not look like Edge. I mean, obviously, when you look at it, you're like, okay, that's Edge, but it's like, come on, dude, like that is not Edge, dude. Like,
Edge is dressed like Edge.
Yeah, man. Like some of these models are just like horrendous.
Like, meanwhile, you look at Triple H and he looks picture perfect, exactly the same.
Right, right. But it's like when I see some of these other people, man, that are like doing like some of these modders, man, like Joe again, like his Edge, and like I'm not gonna name the other.
Even Soul's Edge.
There's tons.
Like, that's
a call though. Like,
I know, but I mean,
obviously there's better than people in this party that can do that. Well, yeah, but I don't know. It's just God, I hate.
I mean, like at the end of the day, it all boils down to, like, as far as like face modeling goes, it comes down to the passion of the person who's doing these models.
Right.
And if they see it as the 9 to 5, we're gonna get that Edge face all day, every day, as opposed to like Joe Mashups, who's doing it for free and he's doing it because he loves to. At the end of the day, he enjoys it. He loves doing it.
Yeah.
And he puts his all into it. And that's what, hopefully we get something like that, even if like a developer has to use, photos for reference.
Let me tell you, man, when 2K took over, bro, I'm not going to say I was the biggest, man, but I was probably one of their biggest.
I was worried.
I was worried too.
Well, see, I wasn't, man, because I was such a huge 2K fan. And before, like right when they took over, they were doing everything right. And this is before, kind of, man. They were doing a lot right, man. Like when the basketball games were still on top, bro. Like NBA 14 was amazing, bro. Like it was, dude. It was. 15 was even good. But even before that, dude, 11 is one of my favorite ones.
13 was good.
12 was pretty decent. 13 was really good. 14 was really good. Heck, I even bought 15 twice because I had it on my 360, and then when I got my Xbox One when it first came out, I bought it for that. Like, man, or maybe it was 14. I don't remember. But anyways, like 2K used to be amazing, bro. So when they took over, I was like, oh man, we're gonna the wrestling games are gonna be so great. That's how I was, man. And it was like, man, they smacked the hell out of me, put me back down to earth. Like
they hit you with a 2K20 before 2K20.
Man. And you know what? 14, even though it's got the tag 2K.
It was a THQ.
That ain't them, man. That ain't them.
No, that was THQ.
Their game is 15.
You start the game up and you play the actual 2K game that follows.
Right. Their first game that is labeled theirs is 15 on the well, technically last gen now.
On the Xbox One.
Xbox One. And that game is.
And a lot of people blame Ukes for that when it was not Ukes' fault. It was WWE saying what they wanted in that next gen game.
Yep.
And it was a lot of stuff like went bad. I mean, my interview with Brian Williams, my first one, the one that didn't get taken down. He explained a lot about like with 15 and like the issues with that one.
Yeah, I don't blame Ukes, man, because they were doing their thing for such a long time and always did stuff right, man. When you have someone else take over the reins, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? What they did was get out of there.
And I pull my son over, and I'm just like, "Yo, here, take the wheel." Mm-hmm. And he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I will say this about the wrestling code, though. They have so many people on the roster, like so many different people. I wouldn't even feel bad if the creative player wasn't like all that. Man, there'd be so many different people to play with already.
I'm kicking Sheet off right now.
Yes.
Almost.
I mean, for the first game,
almost is a must.
No, man, the created is a must, bro. Or that game is only going to be played so long.
For the first game, if it's not like
any wrestling game, man, any kind of game like that, or even I'm gonna say basketball, anything like that, man. When you're when you're that one player or whatever it is, man, when you're taking, you gotta have I mean, we're not.
But you said you can sit there and play WrestleFest for God knows how long.
Right. I get that, man. But that's for
no
that game. There was nothing like that, man. We're talking about now. We're talking about now.
Okay, but why would that be a difference now?
Man, because
if you can go back to play WrestleFest
right now.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm just saying is like how
you cannot have a successful wrestling game nowadays and not have created superstar on there. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean I didn't say not have it, but just in case it's not like top notch as we're expecting, at least we have all these other players, the characters that
I get that. I get that.
That's easy for you to say because you control like 50 characters.
Exactly. Exactly. I just feel like a successful wrestling game has to have, if it's not on what we're used to level, it's got to be close to it, man, or something. It's got to be, when I make somebody, it's got to, that okay, if I make somebody on whatever new wrestling game comes out, if you guys can't be like, oh, that's so and so, then you know what I mean, it's got to be, it's got to be, you got to be able to have that kind of creation suite or whatever for it to be successful, because the game will not last all year without a good creation, man. It won't. It just won't, man. It'll be any wrestling game that comes out, let's just say, no matter what it is, whoever makes it, and it comes out and they don't have a good or no creation to where you can create your car or cause, it will be here in the first month or two, and 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line,
it's gonna drop.
It's gonna drop.
One
month. And that's what I'm saying.
We'll drop off fast.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And they already said from the jump they're not going to have that in, that it's going to come at a later date. Hey, they better get on the ball, man, and have that come out within, like you said, like in the first month or two. Because if they're talking 6, 7 months, 8 months down the line,
that game's life is done already. Like
that game's already done. No one's going to even care about it no more, man.
Yeah, because we were done with 20. They
should have had it they should have it on release. And maybe that's part of the pushback. I doubt it, though. I doubt it.
I mean, for me, like Spike said, when it comes to Retromania, I kind of lost hype when they kept on pushing it back, and now they're pushing it back on console. I'm like,
Like, I'm only still talking about that game because I'm the fool that actually pre-ordered it. Like, I pre-purchased it last year.
Yeah.
But that's another example of, yes, I'm like, it's going to come out. I'm going to play it regardless of the fact that the hype is over. I'm going to enjoy it. But then it's like, once I'm done playing with one or two, because I'm not going to play with everybody on the roster. When I finish playing with those in-game characters, in the back of my head, I'm going to be like, yo, it would have been cool if I could have created such and such. Like, let me make a little version of Triple H. Let me make a little version of TJP. Let me make a little version of Rhino and, like, put those guys against them. Let me work up a move set. Because that's part of our passion, too, playing these games, making the characters, doing the move sets. And it's like, if you take that out, then the longevity of the game, it's void, null and void.
I said this to Dre earlier. I blame him, D, Sheed, and Failed Hero for my addiction with creating now.
Yeah,
that's like when it comes to the
me.
AEW game. There's like, oh, we're gonna try to do the Aki engine. I'm like, I don't see how you're gonna do the Aki engine. You know, you're gonna try to get close somewhat, and it ain't gonna play like No Mercy or.
You don't believe in you?
But
I have faith in them. It's not gonna look as pretty as everything else, but
on it, it's like I'm not gonna set my standards high on 2K22 because they've taken from 2K20 all the way back until even back on the 360. They took a lot of stuff out. Story designer, create a pay-per-view mode, which to me, I always enjoyed, especially on the SmackDown 2 games, where you guys sit there and try to make your pay-per-view have whatever ratings, then you're going to say, okay, I want to try to beat that. You don't have that in these games. You don't have creative pay-per-views. And, I mean, the universe mode, it died down really after WWE 14. Other than that, from now, what it is now, I don't know if they're going to make it better or it's going to be worse, but if not, then I'll stick with my Fire Pro.
All right, we done with this topic, fellas. Anybody else got anything to say about it? There was a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees no hype for 2K22.
I'm sure.
I'm kind of looking forward because I got friends.
I'm sure as this year goes on, and we get closer to some of these releases, we'll obviously talk about this again. So
I mean, I'm looking forward to see PJ, which I'm sure you guys know who PJ is. Just incredible. Looking forward to seeing Pretty Proper. Looking forward to seeing them on there.
Hey, I'm looking to see if you're talking about the wrestling code, Big Papa Pump, baby. Let's go.
And like she said, Ultimo.
Let's go.
I'm going to be quiet.
Nah, hey, there's so many great people on there. RVD, man. Yeah, dude. Isn't Sandman gonna be on there too?
Sandman's on there too, yeah.
Sabu is on there too, right?
Sabu, Francine.
No,
I think Shane Douglas is on there too.
Sabu's not. I thought Sabu was on there. I know Shane Douglas isn't, or at least yet.
No, he's not.
Or he won't be at all. You don't think Human has a chance?
I'm gonna be quiet.
Yeah, you over here about to. Hey, Dre, you better. All right, let's go.
Dre going to jail.
I can't tell you nothing, but I'm telling you, he's not gonna be on it.
Hey, Dre, you better be quiet. We into this topic right now. Let's go ahead and move before Dre gets in trouble.
Dre better close his curtains, lock his door.
Yeah, so let's talk about when we became gamers.
Right. So next topic. When we all became gamers. Sheed, when did you become a gamer, bro? When did you officially start gaming and when you became a gamer?
Atari 26, I had E.T. and one more game that I can't remember. It was Pac-Man, of course, and there was a third one that I can't remember. But officially a game with NES. Super Mario, Duck Hunt, and Track and Field with the power pad.
All right. So that's so the Atari though, is it the Atari that actually started you off, or was it kind of a mixture of both?
I say Atari was the introduction, but NES was the official. Like I'm in now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And around when was that?
For the NES?
No, I mean like how old do you think you were?
Oh. Like 7 or 8 maybe. I was young.
Okay.
So somewhere around there maybe. Well, I can't remember the years. You know I'm old. So yeah, it was right. You know, around when it first came out, pretty much.
What about you, Spike?
For me, Nintendo started off because I didn't have a console, so it was always my cousins would visit or I would go to their house, and that's where I would see Donkey Kong, Mario 1, Duck Hunt, those type of games, and it's like I would just sit there, just fixated on those games until my mom was like, "It's time to go," and then when she realized like they had to pry me away from that stuff. Eventually, she was like, you know what? You keep your grades up. You get you a system of your own. And I got the Nintendo much later on in its lifespan. So it's like when I got my Nintendo, it came with Mario Brothers 3 and Battletoads. And before I even got that, then I eventually got introduced to Atari. So I was like, oh, there was something before the Nintendo. And people were like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff before that. Sega Master System, all that stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I'm going to stick with this Nintendo. And then that's where it began for me, with the whole like getting that and then getting games. And like I mentioned in previous episodes, it was real scarce to get games. So it was like you would go to the next kid and be like, hey, I got this. You want to try it out? And you would swap games with them. And that's how my knowledge of games and my library and stuff grew over the years.
How old do you think you were? Or
young. Like I started my kids young. Like my kids did been gaming since they're like 2 or 3. So like I said, I played original Mario. I want to say maybe 4 or 5, age 4, age 5.
Okay. What about you, Dustin?
I started on the Atari playing like Sequest, and then I'd play like every here and there, but I was more on NES, Mario 3. I played a little bit of the old X-Men game, Werewolf from London or wherever the hell it was, because the guy that I got from was like, yeah, this is Wolverine. I'm like, I started playing like, this ain't Wolverine.
What is that?
Yo, who's getting murdered in the background?
Somebody's in trouble.
Yo, somebody call 911. It's
or they getting a back broken. Woo!
Somebody's in trouble.
And like Mario 3, I literally skipped Mario 2 and went to Mario 3. Ninja Turtles, Excite Bike. I want to say I was probably about 6 or 7 when I was big in the NES.
All right. So that's around officially when you started then. Officially. What about you, Ken?
Yeah, I remember. I got started with my uncle had a ColecoVision when he lived with us. And
that's why you're always pointing out mine, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Because he had one, and we didn't have a 2-game. We had Frogger and Donkey Kong. And
now, did he have the extender like I've got?
Yeah, he sure did.
Okay, awesome.
So, man,
so rare.
There was a lot of time put into that, and I finally got. I got a Nintendo and Super Nintendo like within a few months of each other. Like the Nintendo was coming to an end and Super Nintendo was coming. So for the longest time, all I had was that ColecoVision, but it put me on to the games.
That's why, dude. I always wondered, man, every time I ever post anything, dude, you always name
I can point that bad boy out.
Right, dude. Okay, that makes sense now. I just thought you were just a fan of it, man. So that's awesome, dude.
Well, I am, but that's why.
Right. Well, yeah. Okay. Right. And how old do you think around?
I was 5, 6 when we first started, when he first really got me into it. And because it was simple for someone that was 5 and 6, it just took off from there.
Right. Awesome, dude. Any other like little memories about it, or? I mean, I'm just wondering.
Not really.
Okay.
I knew that we had like that. We only had that one fatback TV in Grandma's room, so we had to play it while she was at church or whatever.
Got you.
That was about it.
Dre, what about you, brother? When did you first start off, and around how old were you?
Probably at the age of like 5. The first Nintendo, Duck Hunt, Super Mario Bros, Ninja Turtles. I wouldn't even consider myself a gamer at that age. I had those games, and I also had a neighbor. I remember her name. It's really weird, Tyshilia, and she had a ton of Nintendo games that she would let me borrow. Mind you, she's like, shoot, she was probably, when I was 5, she was probably like 11, 12, and just like let me hold down those games, and I didn't know how to play them. Like, I didn't beat Mario till I was grown. So, Yeah, it was basically like me playing that. I think the time when I really became a gamer is when I had a Sega Genesis and a PlayStation, and my other homeboy had a PlayStation and a Nintendo 64. My other friend had a PlayStation and a Super Nintendo, and we would swap consoles and with games or whatever. So if like one of us got a game, we all got the game because we would share it. I think that was the time, and I would have to say that was around. Shoot, when did PlayStation came out in the States in what, 97?
The first PlayStation?
Yeah.
I believe it was 95 actually.
95?
I believe
okay,
so,
then I didn't get my PlayStation until 96. So yeah, I was like 11. No. 95. I was 10. Yeah. So yeah,
September 9th, 1995.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So let's talk about this girl again. How old you say she was? Where's she at?
How's she doing today?
This dude, I swear, man.
Is she single and ready to mingle?
Yo,
what's her gamer tag?
Y'all crazy. I'm being quiet. Y'all gotta relax. Everybody.
Right. Let's see. I was officially like around 2 when I first officially started gaming. Okay, so here a quick.
I said 2.
Did you just say 2?
Right. Okay, a quick little story. Okay, so my mom is really like, well, I mean, she's still kind of young compared to some standards of some people, like friends that I'm with. I mean, she's still young compared to like people that I'm in age with, is what I'm trying to say. But she had me at a very young age. She had me right after she turned 16, and she back then you were able to, before they switched the age and stuff, I think it was to be able to smoke cigarettes was 16, and the alcohol was 18 here in America. And she, around the time when I was 2, so that would have put her at like 18. She was working at a bar at the time, you know what I'm saying? And at times didn't have a babysitter, and she would bring me along. And a lot of the regulars that would come in and stuff like that would always give me quarters and stuff, dude. So I would go over and I would sit at on the little bar stool and play Pac-Man and what was it, Pac-Man and Space Invaders and stuff like that. Like the couple of little arcade cabinets that they had there at the bar. That's during my mom's shift. Regulars would throw me quarters all the time, and that's what I did the whole time, dude, was do that. And then of course watch people play pool and blah 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 blah. But yeah, so I was like 2 when I officially started my gaming. Now when it came to like my own home stuff, that was a couple of years later down the line, when it was right before the actual NES came out. And it was something that we knew that was going to be coming out, and we wanted it really bad, me and my little brother. And so I would have been like, I think like 7 at the time before that came out. And my aunt had an old Atari, which I had played before or whatever, but she had the 2600 with like around 200, close to 200 some games in a box. And yeah, so, and she just gave that to us, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to think, by then it had already been out for a while, and we were wanting it, so she gave it to us, and to kind of test us to see if that was something. Because you got to think, man, that was before the NES came out, and it was kind of pricey or whatever. So before my parents spent that kind of money on it or whatever, they wanted to test and see if we were actually going to play it. And we loved the Atari and we played it. So that's what we got for Christmas, was the NES whenever it came out. So, but yeah, officially though, yeah, man, your boy was 2 years old, man.
See, like Tommy Pickles pulling
That's
quarters
right,
out of his
dude.
diaper.
Yeah, dude. I was sitting up there playing, and that's a kind of a cool story, dude. Because my mom is the one that used to tell me about it, dude. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of cool to for that whole little thing, man. So that's kind of awesome. But anyways, yeah. So we got one more topic left before we do our outros, and top 5 gaming consoles. And obviously you can have an honorable mention if you want, but top 5 gaming consoles. And I'm gonna say let's leave it now. If you really have to and you're stressing about it and you're like, dude, I can't do this. I gotta throw this in there instead. I like to keep it as, and when I say a home console, even if you play your handheld at home, a handheld is an on-go thing, dude. I like to say an actual home console that you plug up to your TV is what I consider an actual home console. So let's if you can keep it at that. If not, and you got to throw you in a Game Boy or something, then so be it. But top 5 favorite. If you got an honorable mention, then go ahead, Dustin.
Well, I'm gonna do my honorable mention, and I'm gonna say my Xbox One because a lot of great games on there. Number 5, Super NES, because that was the system that I had a lot of games with, and I did more gaming on that because I didn't have a Sega at the time, or my cousin didn't have a Sega at the time. When I went to go visit with them on the weekend, I would play Super NES all the time. Number 4, Nintendo GameCube, because I remember playing a lot of the old wrestling, a lot of the old Medal of Honor Rising Sun 4-player mode with friends, the early hardcore free-for-alls. Number 3, the Xbox 360, which I'm sure we can all, with everything that wrestling and all the other games that came out. Number 2, Nintendo 64, because just like PlayStation, I put a lot of time on that because, again, I didn't get none of the new gens at the time. I didn't get any of that until 2003. Number 1, I know D's gonna kill me for this, but it's a tie between PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. I couldn't pick between them because
nothing wrong with that, man.
I had, and again, like I said, PlayStation 2, I had PS2 even when I didn't get the Xbox 360 until 2000 SVR 2009 came out. I didn't transfer over. I was still playing all the old stuff. I got original Xbox, and yeah. But yeah.
Ken.
All right. So my honorable mention, I'll start with that. That for me will probably be my Xbox One, just because of things I've been able to do with it. My original one just died recently, and my daughter is still kind of hurt about it, but I'm gonna fix it up for her again. Number 5 is the Xbox 360, mostly because I could still play original Xbox games on it as well as 360 games. I was telling Dre earlier, ESPN 2K5, when the original Xbox conked out on me, I still could play it on the 360, so I still got my football fix for a while. Number 4 is the original Nintendo, just because of the insane amount of hours that me and Mario spent together. From 1 all the way to 3. Like, those were the only 3 games I had for the longest time because I didn't want to play anything else. Number 3 is the ColecoVision, mostly because of the nostalgia, and it's still in my closet right now in the box, and it's not coming back out just because that was the first one. Uncle finally gave it to me, and I'm not taking it back out. Nice. Number 2 is the PS2 because of the unnatural amount of games that the PS2 had, and I owned so many of them and loved all of them. And I can't show it because it's on the back side of the camera, but there's a wall dedicated to the PS2 games. And since the Japanese PS2 and the regular one sitting next to each other, yeah, there's just a little special place for me. And number 1 is the N64, because that was the first system I had where I could actually get all my guys together and we could have battles on No Mercy, WrestleMania, GoldenEye. I had to school my kids in GoldenEye last week. It was a great experience for them to figure out the golden gun is not what they want to mess with. Actually, I have one more honorable mention: the Super Nintendo. And if you see hanging out back there with Ron Simmons and Sasha Banks,
I do.
It's the Star Trek game for the Super Nintendo. I told you about it before, D. But yeah, it's sitting back there with Majin Vegeta in them, and I played that for way too much time because of my addiction to Star Trek.
Nice,
so,
nice. Sheed.
All right, let's see what we got here. Number 5, I had the Dreamcast because that was my introduction to Fire Pro and also Shenmue, which I spent a lot of time on. I felt like that game took forever. Number 4 is 64, N64. Like Ken said, GoldenEye, WrestleMania 2000, those kind of games or whatever. Mario 64 too, which is one of my favorite games of all time. Number 3, I had Genesis and Super Nintendo tied because I couldn't really pick between them. I spent the equal amount of time on both of them. Number 2, I actually had the Xbox One because that's what I'm playing now, and also because of the backwards compatibility. I can play the 360 games on there, which I have a bunch of. And number 1 I got is the original NES because that's where it all started for me.
All right, Dre.
All right, so top 5 consoles. Number 1, I'm going to have to say the 360, mainly because the amount of parties I was in and just the overall social ability that you have with the game opened the world up to you. You're able to talk to people around the world. That's number 1. Number 2 was the N64, mainly because GoldenEye, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000. You got those 3 games, you're all set. You and your friends can have the most fun in the world. Number 3 is the PlayStation 2, both Japanese and American. I need to say less. It's just the PlayStation 2. It's the best-selling console ever. Number 4. We on number 4? Cool. What is the Xbox One? Because I have it. And number 5, I would say, is Sega Genesis. That really has some great games for the NBA Live series when you used to foul the hell out of somebody just to steal the ball. That was the best. I mean, they would fly off the screen with you. It was amazing. I loved it. That's jail ball 100%.
Yeah.
That Rampart, just the amount of games and weird games that the Sega Genesis had. So that's my 5 right there. Those are ones that I definitely appreciate.
All right, I'm gonna do it real quick, man, because we are running out of time, and I'm not gonna name drop a bunch of games, man. I'm just gonna go with it, and for obvious reasons, I'm gonna start instead of last. I'm gonna start very beginning, which is unlike me. But number 1, the NES, baby. Let's go. Favorite console of all time for so many freaking reasons why. So many freaking reasons why. Main reason because I'm old. 2, the Sega Genesis. Love that freaking console, dude. The same reason. I'm old, and so many awesome games on that. Like Dre said. So number 2. Number 3 and number 4. So hard for me, man, because they're both neck to neck. But gonna say number 3 would be Xbox 360. For so many reasons, a lot for what Dre said too. Parties, friends, bringing it back to when I was a kid, being able to hang out with friends. Except for now, I was doing it online. Number 4 would be the PS2. The library is just unreal. And really stepped its game up with that console, man. Let's see. And I want to throw the OG Xbox in there, man, because dude, not long after it came out, I switched over to that, you know what I mean, and became kind of an Xbox boy, dude, over my PS2, man. But I'm not putting that in the list, even though I really want to. Number 5, God, dude, I own so many and love so many consoles, man. But I gotta put number 5 as the TurboGrafx 16, dude. Didn't have a crap load of games that probably a lot of you don't know too much about, or maybe some people that watch don't know about it, man. But awesome console. It was not a huge success here in America for many reasons, dude. But and pretty much 1 out of 30 people in the neighborhood probably had it. Everybody else had the Nintendo or Genesis or something, dude. But it was kind of like that weird kid on the block that nobody knew about, but was so freaking awesome at the same time. And honorable mention, I'm just gonna throw it out here, man, because like I said, well, I'm not really name dropping games on why, man, and it should be higher because a couple of my favorite games are on this console. But it's not, because I kind of hate the console too. The Nintendo 64.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
The Nintendo 64.
I love it, but I hate it, dude. It's one of those thin lines. It's a thin line. Anyways, Nintendo 64. That's gonna be my honorable mention, and then probably another one right after that one would be the Super Nintendo. Anyways, so that's mine. Spike.
All right. I'm gonna do my list backwards starting with the honorable mentions, the Sega Dreamcast. And surprisingly, that's gonna be like the only Sega system on this list, because as I mentioned on previous episodes, I didn't really grow up playing Sega. Like when I got one, it was from my cousin, and all the games I got from that was more hand-me-down games or games that I got in trade. So Dreamcast, mainly for, like she said, Shenmue. Like when I first saw Shenmue, I was like, I have to get this console to play this game. Like it was like groundbreaking to me. That Sonic Adventure, games like that. Number 5 is going to be the Xbox 360, just like the rest of y'all said. Just the friends that I've made over the years. Like I have hundreds and hundreds of friends that I met through parties, and then hours staying up from like 12 to 4 o'clock in the morning playing the WWE games, like getting to know people. That's how I found out about D and Dre when they were creating the wrestlers and stuff, and like seeing you guys work inspired me to like do my own thing on the side.
See, it's not just me.
Next up, PlayStation 2, another big part of my teenage years. As I said, I used to have the friends come over, play a lot of the wrestling games and stuff with me, and the role-playing games. So like I was saying, games like Xenosaga, the Final Fantasy X, which to this day I still haven't beaten it, but it is one of my favorites because like I'm a huge role-playing game guy. There was like next up NES. That's the system that started it for me. Like I said, going to cousins' houses, playing it, and then eventually getting my own, getting headaches with games from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Battletoads, stuff like that. But it's like headaches, but like great memories growing up. And that's why I used to trade a lot of those games. Like that's how I got the Genesis, trading 3 Nintendo games to my cousin to get a Genesis. And then like my number one's gonna be.
Hey, that was a good upgrade back then, dude.
Yeah, 3 games, 3 whole console.
Yeah, that was a good upgrade back then, dude.
And then my number one, which I've mentioned this on like a previous episode or like 2 episodes back, the Super Nintendo. Mainly because like by the time I had that, I was hitting that point where it's just like I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this gaming thing, like I'm over it. And then I was introduced to Chrono Trigger, so it was like that was like a whole different genre of game, and like that just revigorated my love for gaming, because I was like, these role-playing games, like there's something different. And it's like I played Zelda in the past, but like Zelda just never grabbed me like that game did. And then you just had like a vast library of like your Dredge Dreads, your Maximum Carnage, your Super Street Fighter, your Killer Instinct. Like you would go to the store to buy a game and you'd be there just like, oh, what to get? And it's like very rare would you make a bad choice on what you were picking up.
RPGs are awesome, dude.
Yeah, they are. I'm gonna need you to beat Final Fantasy X, though. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and knock that.
Yo, I got it on the PSP. I'm at the end where I gotta fight Yevon? You gotta fight Sin and then Yevon. Yeah, I'm there. I'm right there.
Okay.
Best Final Fantasy game is the first one on the NES, just saying.
I'm sure probably a lot of people will say 7 though.
People
that's
say
what a lot of people
7 is
were
the popular
introduced to.
one, but there's ones better than 7. Like I think 3 or 4 were better than 7 in terms of story.
3 was amazing.
Yes.
You already said your honorable mention too, didn't you?
Yeah, I started with the Dreamcast. Yeah.
All right, fellas, man. Well, that's Gamers Cast episode 6, man. Let's do these outros. Dustin, where all can they find you, my man?
On Twitter at SheriffDaddy_316, Twitch and YouTube at Revelation_X. That's where you can find me.
All right, AOC.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at AOC. Make sure you yell it AO when you type it in.
Yes.
And that's it. All right.
That's all I got.
Mr. Ken Washington, where all can they find you, my man?
Full government name.
Yeah, we'll go with it. You can find me on at K Washington Call if you're doing the whole wrestling thing. If you just want my random gaming stuff, it's Mr. GHOSLV3, and it's the same thing on Twitch. I wrote it down in case. Oh hell, there he goes.
There you go.
This terrible handwriting. Yeah, but that's
a computer part.
Right.
Listen, I don't want to talk about computers. I gotta go. Anyway, but that's where you can find me at. I stream in a very random rate. It's just kind of when I feel like it. And on YouTube, it's just Ken Washington.
All right. Dre, where can they find you, my man, besides Google?
I want to talk to that guy that's standing behind him, though.
It's Dre41 Gaming all around, or just search Dre41. On YouTube, it's Dre41 Gaming. Twitter, Instagram, I'm all there. Oh, and the best UWA World Champion right there.
There you go. Shout out to Showtime.
Wow.
Just gonna put it out there. The other guy from Rhode Island, no one knows him. He's a black.
Eagle Powers for life.
Yo, Spike, where can they find you, man?
All right, it's Spike3585. That's SPYKE on Twitter. On Twitch, just like Ken, I sporadically I stream almost every day, but there's no set time. You can look for me there and under Superior One Spike, all one word, SUPERIOR 1, the number 1, and Spike SPYKE.
All right. And of course, I'm the Tatted Up Gamer Dude. You can find me everywhere, anywhere under Tatted Up Gamer Dude or Daniel, aka D, and that's Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, even though I haven't streamed there in 4 years. Of course, here at YouTube, and there's probably a couple other places you can find me or Google me or whatever. But yeah, that's the Gamers Cast, and I hope you guys enjoyed episode 6, and we will see you next time, guys. Thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And we will check you guys later. Game on.